control. Politicians and celebrities make deals behind closed doors, promises broken, and their income soars. Hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose a masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line.
Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the wonderful, crazy world of advice, life advice, relationship advice, money advice, all sorts of advice online, and how if you listen to the wrong people, what they repeat over and over and over can become your inner voice, and you need to be very, very careful and discerning who you listen to, because they can absolutely destroy any chance you have of success or even happiness. Let's just get into that. So today we'll be talking about that, and I'm going to do my little intro, give everybody a minute to get here because I just posted this.
Let us guide your trembling heart through perilous flirtations, awkward confessions, and unrelenting ego. This is a refuge for sophisticated animals. So pour your drinks and prepare to descend into refined chaos.
All right, so now let's talk about how it can be fun to follow people who give advice about, random things. I give advice about random things. Like, it's fun. It's like a way to make a community online, or just hang out, or just listen to people talking crazy. And that can be really fun and entertaining. But there's a difference between entertainment and I'm going to take this person's advice like Bible. That's the difference we're going to be talking about today. So there's a lot of people who are very charismatic. And sometimes when somebody is very charismatic, the brain, your own brain, will trick you into thinking this person is an authority just because they're charismatic. Like, I know I'm not charismatic, so nobody listens to me, and that's fine. But there's people out there who are incredibly charismatic. They are just like, they light up a room, and whenever they say anything, everybody just shuts up and listens. They're like, wow, so-and-so is talking, and they're just so enamored by them. The problem is sometimes people with terrible lives are really charismatic, and who give terrible advice are really charismatic. And if you do not want somebody's life, you need to be very careful if you're actually going to listen to them. Like, I have no problem listening to everybody because I can discern, I'm going to listen to this, I'm not going to listen to that, blah, 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 blah. Writing a book doesn't make you an authority. Just because you can put pen to paper or type does not mean that you know what you're talking about. Let alone does it mean if you're really good at public speaking, or if you're a comedian and you're able to have 1 million people in the audience just laughing at all your jokes and just being completely enamored by every word you say. That doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. And as humans, we have a problem that sometimes we can't discern if this person is just talking crap for entertainment purposes or if we should actually be listening to them. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So the first one I want you to think about is wrong advice, wrong path. Sometimes people who are living unfulfilling lives or very chaotic, disastrous lives, they give advice based on their own very limited perspectives, their own personal fears, or their own personal failures. For example, somebody who's in a dead-end job might discourage you from taking risks because they're whatever, they did this, or there's a million other ways. So anytime somebody is pushing you, or like, let's say somebody's in a, this is a big one. This more makes sense to hear. If somebody's in a bad marriage and then they go online or they go wherever and they try to convince you that you should never get married, that all women are trash or all men are, whatever it is, that they're all liars and cheaters and whatever. And then they discourage you from taking the risk to get married. And everything in life is a risk, right? Instead of pushing you towards something safe, fulfilling, that, whatever, and how to find a good, safe, fulfilling, whatever, they're going to say, just don't do anything. Just don't take any risks. Just you're going to fail because I failed. So you're going to fail too, because if I can't do it, you can't do it. Right. And sometimes when you see really charismatic people or people who have success in other areas, like somebody who is wealthy doesn't necessarily know anything about like having a successful relationship, or somebody who has a successful relationship doesn't necessarily know how to be wealthy, or somebody who is incredibly healthy and looks really good, it has no idea how to become wealthy, or, whatever. Right? So in a specific area, if they are successful at it and they're not doom and glooming you, because I think that's a red flag too. If somebody is going to doom and gloom you about everything, that means that they don't believe in themselves. Like this is what, like, for example, let's talk about the marriage for a second. Right? If somebody's going to doom and gloom you about marriage, statistics and blah, 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 instead of saying, let's forget about all the losers, because you've all been outside. Most people are just failing in everything. Most people are obese. They can't control their mouth. You think they can control who they date? Like they have no control about anything. These people are like obese. They're depressed. They don't go outside. They don't get any sunlight. They're just, they're not doing anything. And then they're going to tell you, oh, don't do any risk. Don't pick anyone. Instead of like saying, okay, let's forget about those people because I don't want to be them. I don't want anything like their life. And look at the few people who are at the top and who are actually doing well. And then maybe put a little bit more emphasis on what they say. Because like something that my husband always told me, I'm like, why are you never like jealous or like afraid that I'm going to leave you? He's like, I'm not afraid you're going to leave me. My confidence is in, I know that I'm someone worth being with, and that if you don't want that, then that's a you problem. And I'll just find someone who appreciates that. And like that type of mentality is why he's more successful than someone who goes, all women are skanks. Be scared. Like there's a difference between how somebody who's successful in an area thinks about it and how someone who's not successful in an area thinks about it. And then you got people who are really successful in short-term gains, but not long-term goals, and then you have to be like discerning. It's like a revolving door with them. Like there's nothing permanent in their life. Like I don't want that either. So you have to be very careful. So let's see. The other one is you got mismatched values. So their life doesn't align with your goals and your morals and your values. Let's say like they prioritize being comfortable over like ambition or trying things or taking risks that would be like beneficial. Like if you really want to let's say you really want to, I don't know, own a house, and you're listening to people online who's like, it's the worst investment. It's going to get mold. You have to replace the roof every 10, 20 years. You have to do this. There's all these problems with, if somebody just bombards you with problems to stop you from doing something, that's also a problem. They don't have your same value. You want that thing. So now you have to find people who can help you get it, not people who are going to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't want it. The next, let's go. It's more like of the same negative mindset, just in general. Now, I'm not saying sometimes people are negative for a moment. They're sick. They didn't sleep, whatever. But when it's consistent, you have to be very careful. When they are struggling at something, they're going to have cynicism about it. Somebody who sucks at making money is going to have cynicism about making money. Like don't take advice about making money from me because I don't make money. So take advice from somebody else. If you ask me for money advice, like it's probably going to be useless. So be realistic and do not shrink what you want out of life because you're listening to the wrong people. The next is the time and the energy drain. So when you're engaging with a lot of input, it can waste your mental energy. And then it will lead you to second guess things that are actually good for you, that would actually lead you in the right direction. And it takes focus away from you actually strategizing for what you want that can actually work. So if you're taking career tips from someone who doesn't have a career, like let's say I'm giving you career tips, don't listen to that. Don't listen to it. I'm just going to say, just don't work or something stupid. And then you're going to be like, yeah, I shouldn't have to work. Let me not think about this. And then you're homeless. So be very careful. Okay. By absorbing advice from people whose lives do not reflect your aspirations and your goals, you are sabotaging your own success. So always ask yourself, would I trade places with this person in this specific area? Would I trade places with this person in their relationships? Would I trade places in this person in their family life, in their friendships, in their money-making abilities, in their business strategies, in their whatever it is that you're trying to learn? And then go forward. Okay. Scarcity mindset is another one that, a lot of people, they're going to placate to your fears and your insecurities. That's how a lot of these guru types work. You have to suck at something. You have to be afraid of failure. You have to be scared for you to like fall into them. And now look, I listen to relationship stuff, even though I have a really good relationship. I still like to do it for entertainment purposes. And they'll say things like, what is it? Like bad stuff about women. But I can discern like, this is just like, that's just silly. That's because this person got cheated on 50 times and they've built their whole platform and, their whole philosophy on this one event that they couldn't get over. So like, I know that, so I don't listen to that part. But then occasionally they'll say things that do apply and that are useful to know about. But I can discern the difference. And if you're not there yet, if you're trying to learn and you have nothing to base, no life experience or only a few very poor experiences, you don't want to listen to someone who's doom and gloom because you can't figure out what to listen to and what not to listen to. And we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but maybe don't get near the tub unless you know a little bit of life. Okay. Victim mentality. Gurus get off on victims. Like they love a victim. It's like, oh, you're a victim? Come to me, get my course. Let me fix you. I can fix you, my little victim. It's not your fault. It's the world's against you. And they'll blame everything else. It's always the world. It's the economy. It's whammons. It's the man's. The man's is wrong. It's everything but you. It's everything but you. And you want to hear that because you don't want to look inside and be like, maybe I need to change something, which we all need to change, and we all need to change and do better. Everybody, at least in something. So that mindset can actually kill your drive for actually taking action to change your life. If you listen to anyone who just validates your fears and your bullshit, you're not going to do anything to get out of that situation. You're just going to be like, yeah, it's hopeless. Let me put my feet up. I'm done. The next is fear of failure. Everybody's got it to some degree in different areas. Everybody. And there's something that you're afraid of doing because you might fail and you don't want to look stupid, especially if you're young or you don't have much successes yet. You're going to have a fear of failure. They're going to capitalize off that. Don't let them. And also people will project their own fears and they'll warn you. Or like, there's one thing, my mom is like one of those people, fear of failure all the time. Like, oh, you better not be a stay-at-home mom. You're just gonna, he's gonna be a loser and he's never gonna make money. And then you're gonna be homeless and you're not gonna know how to blah, blah, blah. Fear. No, because I made different choices. So that hasn't happened. 20, 30 years in, still hasn't happened. Just calm down. And even if it does, everybody can get over anything, no matter what happens to you. So like, stop worrying about failure. Do the next thing. Be successful next time. Who cares? Oh, I don't want to fail ever. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to risk anything. Then just don't live. Just stop breathing. Because like, what are you talking about? Going outside is a risk. You could get hit by a car. You could get hit by a plane, I don't know, coming out of the sky. Everything is a risk. Staying inside and doing nothing is a risk. Going outside and doing something is a risk. Trying anything is a risk. What are we here for? So the next is crabs in a bucket. So it's this mentality thing of like, they resent others who are successful and they will subtly undermine you. This is when you're hanging out with, like, for example, girls will hang out with a lot of single girls that come from shitty relationships, whatever. And anytime one girl gets a good boyfriend, he's really sweet. Oh, he's going to cheat on you. I saw him at a club with a girl, blah, blah, blah. Anything to undermine that, because they're trying to discourage you from doing anything they failed at. It's also the secret competition that people have. It's very unconscious. It's like, I don't think we think we're trying to help when we're doing it, but you have to understand that part of human nature. They literally think they're trying to help you by projecting their own fear on you. They're not trying to help you. So when they're telling you, oh, don't do this or whatever, it's bad, or this happened to me, or, they always start out nice and then they become evil. Just don't listen to them, because they're coming from their own trauma and they're trying to put that on you. So you just have to like say, not today. Okay, then we have cynical realism. They disguise pessimism as practicality. It's like, well, there's no good woman, so don't get married. Or all marriages fail, so don't take any risk. Don't do anything because, there's a very high likelihood you'll get into a car accident, so don't go drive. There's a high chance that you might go bald one day, so don't wash your hair. Like, it's so ridiculous. So people can convince you something doesn't exist or something is hopeless and just stick to whatever you're doing now. Okay, let's we know this. That means that 60% don't. Instead of focusing on the loser, would you do the same thing if I was trying to tell you guys how to make money? If somebody was trying to tell you how to make money, you'd be like, well, most people are broke. Therefore, I'm not going to learn how to make money. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to make money, most people suck at everything. Of course they suck at relationships. Of course they suck at being healthy. Of course they suck at maintaining their body weight. Of course they suck at most people suck at everything. Most people don't try. Most people are like you guys are just like, I don't know. Or like how I was when I was younger. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's not plan. Let's not plan ahead. Let's just see what happens. Stop doing that. You need to make plans to be successful, and stop listening to people who are like, everything is bad. Don't try. One of the other keys to this is, okay, this is like, let me give you guys a specific circumstance. There are guys who are like pickup artist type guys, and they just go and get broken women all day and they pass around broken women. So what's a great way to make sure there's more broken women? Make sure like there's no men trying to get good like relationships. If everybody is just passing chicks around, that's a never-ending supply of chicks to be passed around. That's a lot of broken people to be passed around. Now, this is going to destroy society, but when you are thinking narcissistically, you're in your self-interest, you're like, I just want what I want right now. You're going to do that. You're just going to project that out. Like, you guys shouldn't do anything. I know I'm passing around women, but you should stay away from women. Just stay away from them. They're all terrible and evil. Or men. How many hoes are out there telling other women, don't get married, don't have kids, don't do anything, because they're just going to lie and cheat on you and blah, blah, blah. And it's usually coming from women who are like somehow benefiting from that. Somehow they're blackmailing guys to give them money. Somehow they're like profiting off of it, or they're just like very nasty and negative people and they don't like to see other people happy. So you have to be really careful. Most people are miserable. Most people are miserable. I feel like I don't say that enough. Most people go talk to strangers. The other thing is, like, some people will be like, oh, this old, or like there'll be like these things about like old people advice, and they'll be at a retirement home. What are your regrets? And an old one will be like, I regret not banging that dude on the boat. and getting married and having my kids, those ungrateful kids. They're not even here hanging out with me. And you're just like, and then it scares people who don't think clearly. But then you have to go, hey, who was this woman when she was younger? She's found herself in a retirement home alone. So she couldn't maintain any relationships with her husbands or her kids. Nobody liked her. Maybe the product was bad. We have to think about that. Like, we don't know the full story. She could have been abusive. She could have been abusive to her husband. She could have been abusive to her kids. And she's here like, kids are ungrateful. Ungrateful to what? What did you do that made you feel like you deserved it? Like, people usually get what they deserve, and we don't say that enough. Okay. Let's see. Fixed mindset. They believe abilities are static. Like, you're not a math person. So don't bother taking that tech course. You're never going to succeed in that. You don't know math. But the reality is, you can learn anything. If you have the will, you'll have the way. Learning new skills is always outside a comfort zone. So you have to just push through it. You can do whatever you want, really. If you want something bad enough, if you focus on something bad enough, that's how things come to you. The next is a comparison trap. They focus on other people's highlight reels, and they'll be like, oh, I'll never be as good as that person. My jawline is never going to be quite as chiseled, so I'm never going to be as good as them. So therefore, I don't even want to try, because if my jawline isn't just perfect, if I get a girlfriend, she's going to leave me for somebody with the good jawline. That's not true. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane. Imagine if I was like, when I was dating, if I'm like, I don't have any boobs, no one's going to love me, so I should never date anyone because you're just going to leave me for somebody with big boobs. Big boobs is all that matters to men, and I have no boobs, so nobody will love me. Imagine if I thought that. That's insane. You guys are crazy. No, don't think that. That's ridiculous. You know how many girls that I know married to people with like 5 chins and they love them? 5 chins? It's way more than 1 chiseled chin. That's way more. Anyways, all or nothing thinking. Push everything to the extremes. If I don't succeed immediately, it's not worth doing. If my first YouTube video doesn't get 1 million views, it's not worth doing. If the first job interview doesn't give me the high-paying executive job, it's not worth working. If the first girl I date isn't a 10, it's not worth dating. If she doesn't have these exact measurements, I'm throwing her away, and I will never touch a woman again. This is insane. And lots of people think like this, which is crazy. These sound like advice, but they're really derailing motivation and sabotaging you, because there's some people who make a lot of money trying to keep you down so that you watch them and you don't go out there and have a great life. They couldn't do it. All right. Negative mindsets from people whose lives you don't want can deeply mess up your own decision making, taking you away from success. So, paralysis of doubt, right? It's like a scarcity mindset. There's not enough success to go around. Only the top 4% of dudes get matches. Makes you hesitate to even try. Okay, look, let's work that out mentally. Okay, 4%, the top 4% looking dudes get all the matches on dating sites. Don't use a dating site. Cold approach people. Oh, but some people are going to be mean to you. Yes. Some people are going to be really mean to you. Some people are going to try to humiliate you. But you're going to do it anyways, because that's what an adult does when they want something. They put in effort, right? And eventually, when somebody humiliates you, you're not going to feel humiliated. You're just going to be like, whatever, and try right again because you don't care anymore, right? I remember the first time I asked like a dude at a dance to dance with me. I'm sweating, I'm shaking, and I do it, and he's like, ugh, no thanks. And then I'm like, oh, did I never talk to a boy again? No. 10 minutes later, I see another boy, and I'm like, hey, do you want to dance? And he was like, looks me up and down, like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta dance. Middle school was rocking, right? So, yeah, most of the time you're going to fail. That means you just have to do it more times. That's all. It's a numbers game. Everything is a numbers game. You want anything in life, it's a numbers game. Keep doing it. Then you have settling for less. It's like, well, cynicism, realism is disguised as advice. Like, you wanting a 10 is unrealistic. Well, yeah, it is. There's not that many, if at all. Okay. You wanting a non-ho. Let's do that. You wanting a non-ho is unrealistic. You're going to have to settle for a single mom of 59 children because everyone is a hoe. Sorry. It is what it is. No, you can get whatever you want. You don't get exactly what you want because that's how life is. You never get exactly what, but you can get close to what you want, or you can get what you need if you just stop giving up and stop listening to negativity. Stop settling for practical. People who settle are the ones who end up messing up their lives. And I've seen this time and again with men and women. So if you're like, I don't really like her, but nobody else gives me attention. Instead of going, let me work on myself so that I'm more attractive to people I find attractive, you go, hey, let me just settle for this chick that I hate in every way. And then you get mad when she leaves you and you have to pay child support. You settled for someone you didn't even like. You didn't even like her. And when you don't like her, you don't do the things to maintain the relationship. The relationship falls apart. And then you're like, ugh. Don't even do it. It's silly. So don't self, and girls do it all the time too. It's like, well, I don't like him, but I guess I'll be in a relationship with him until something better comes along, and then you ruin his life. And it's like, why? Why are we doing this? Why don't you just look in the mirror? Like, maybe you're a slob. Maybe you dress like a hoe and you're attracting trash. Maybe there's something wrong with you. I mean, it's usually that. Because when you're a really good person, you're a successful person, everybody wants you. Everybody wants to be around. You don't have these problems. The scarcity stuff. Next is avoiding risk, right? Because of fear of failure or other people telling you, don't do it. Just don't try. Don't try to set up that new business. You're going to fail. So what? 9 out of 10 businesses fail. You'll get it on the 10th time, right? If you go into thinking things are usually going to be failures and you just have to fail enough times before you succeed, that's the ticket to being successful in life, in everything, right? Fail enough times until you succeed. That's all you got to do. Externalizing control. It's like, that's that victim mentality. We always make fun of people who have the victim mentality, right? But you can fall into the trap of having your own victim mentality if you're not careful. So you go, the system is what it is. This is just how life is. This is modern life now. This is how it is for everyone. It can trick you into external factors dictating your entire fate, which is ridiculous. This leads to very passive decisions, not negotiating for a raise, skipping building your skills, trying harder, working on yourself. You're not going to do that because you're like, it's not even in my control. Because you believe that your effort won't pay off. And that is the biggest trap. It always pays off eventually. Maybe not when you want it to, but eventually. Then we have undermining confidence. Crabs in the bucket again. Why are you trying? Why are you trying to do that? You're just going to fail. Why are you trying to date a man? They're all liars and cheaters. Why are you trying? Stop doing that. Just go with us to the club and we'll go to this yacht and get some money from this old dude. Like, this is like the mentality, right? And you have short-term thinking. If it doesn't work fast, I've just wasted my time. If the first chick I message doesn't immediately say yes, I've just wasted my time. If the first anything doesn't give me exactly, I've wasted my time. Limited growth. I'm just not cut out for that. I'm just not that type of person. I don't think I could be good at that. So let me not try. Opening your own business that's like for other people. I'm not a people person. I don't like to talk to people. I want to do that. You have to be born with that. I'm not born with it. That's just stunting your own potential. Because look, there's definitely temperaments. You're better at this type of communication than that type, and that's fine. But you can, within your temperament, find a way to be successful doing what you want and to achieve your goals. Next is chasing other people's metrics. This dude has 8 girlfriends. I don't have one. He must be better than me. No, probably not. Probably he's with a bunch of users. He's paying them on the side. You don't know what the hell's going on. Stop. Stop mimicking other people instead of making your own. If you want something, create it. Work out the steps. Now let's talk about cognitive biases. You seek out and give more weight to advice that aligns with your fears and your doubts, especially if someone says, dreams like yours won't work. Then you're going to start ignoring the success stories. I'm going to focus on the 40% failures and not the 60% winners. This is confirmation bias. This is a bias that is human. It is a normal bias. It is made to protect you from doing things that can harm you. But in this world, in this climate, you don't need that anymore. You need to let go of that, right? So you need to go, look, I need to do what I need to do to be successful. And yes, sometimes I'll be unsuccessful and I have to keep going and try new things, adjust course, try again. Then you have the authority bias. You will overestimate credibility of advice from someone just because they are older, louder, or they seem experienced, even if their life is a total mess. If they say, don't take risks and go message girls online, stick to your, cheating girlfriend, whatever. You might follow their lead because they're loud, they're gregarious, they're charismatic, and you assume they must know better. They have more experience, they must know better. That's not true. Lots of old people suck at everything, just like lots of young people suck at everything. There's so many creators that are out giving, I see especially relationship advice. When the creator themselves isn't married, doesn't have a wife that adores them, doesn't have a good family situation, they're out there going to bars and clubs, which just attract the worst of the worst humanity. They have no religion, they have no morals, they have no definition of right from wrong. They sleep with people because they're bored. They risk their health and their mental health and their time, their reputation, the chances of getting, charges against them just because they are weak to the flesh. When someone is weak to the flesh, to the bodily needs, you need to be really careful because this person cannot make good decisions. They're just stuck in what they want. They're just stuck down in the baser needs, like an animal, like a untamed, like a wild animal. I'm just here to kill, eat, poop, mate, and die. They don't have any goals. Literally, they're just living in that disgusting lower levels. Find someone who's a little bit more evolved before you start taking advice. So then you'll have people who are I'm a dating guru for men. But if a woman is disrespectful, I immediately tell her I will never talk to you again. and you think, oh yeah, that sounds right. Somebody's disrespectful. I'll never talk to them again. What if she's just like saying, you did something rude and I think we should talk about it? Because a lot of the time that's what it really is. Oh, she was so disrespectful. And it's really like, hey, when you did this, that was very rude. There's a lot of people who are so broken. They think an argument or a disagreement or someone bringing something to your attention that you need to work on means that they don't care about you. They don't respect you. They're cheating on you. They're this, they're that, whatever. Like they have these catastrophizing thoughts when someone brings something negative up to them. Then they will react by pushing everyone away because they have attachment issues from when they were a child. And I know not everybody believes in attachment issues, but when you're a baby and you have needs, if your caregiver goes to work, drops you off at a babysitter, leaves you with a stranger, leaves you with somebody else, you were not able to form that bond with your caregiver. And that affects your entire ability to form bonds. Anytime somebody says any negative emotions to you, you only immediately turn into that baby who's just been left by their caregiver mentally. And then you'll rationalize, oh, it's because they're not respecting me. Oh, it's because they're not doing this to me. But really, it's triggering the fact that your caregiver left you when you were a child. And a lot of them, these are the same guys who will lie, who will cheat. They can't sustain anything long term. Everything is short term, maybe like a year tops. And then, oh, she made a complaint. I got to leave her. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to problem solve. They don't know how to deal with any sort of negativity coming from someone else because their body always just shut down. So they meet someone who is, let's say like if you have this, some of these people will have this mentality that everyone is a skank, right? Like everyone is a lying, cheating person, male, female. They think everyone is like that. They think everyone is out to get them. Everyone. They're like, this guy in business, if you have a business partner with a man, they're just going to immediately steal all your money because that's what they would do, right? Or if you date a woman, they're just going to cheat on you and leave you for somebody better because that's what they would do. And then they tell you that. And you don't know. You don't have experience yet. Maybe you're young. You don't know. So you just go, this is an authority. I must believe them. But the reality is if someone doesn't have something you want, they can't help you get it. And if they haven't had it for a long time, they can't help you get it and sustain it. So you got to be careful. And if someone is willing to lie, cheat, then they're going to attract someone who's going to lie and cheat. And then they're going to get mad about it. Like, oh my God, everybody lies and cheats on me. Don't you do that to them? But there's like something going on where they don't see that because the universe is very simple. It attracts like. So if you want to be with someone who's really fit, but you are a slob, with the exception of there is a drug that some dudes get on and then they end up liking really obese women. But that aside, naturally, normal, unmedication things, if you want someone who's very fit, you got to be fit. If you want someone who doesn't cheat, you can't cheat. I don't know why this is hard. It's just silly. But anyways, don't convince yourself that everyone who is trying to talk to you knows everything. You have to be very discerning. Maybe sometimes they're talking from hurt or from their own pain or from what they attract. Anyways, not everyone who is loud and charismatic and has like programs to sell or whatever knows what to do to be successful in something long term. So look into that. Then you have the anchoring bias. The first time you hear something over and over, you start internalizing and repeating it. Like that's the whole thing. What's that thing that Rolo would say? She's not yours. It's just your turn. So then I see like a lot of guys who just repeat this stuff. And it's like, mind you, they never say like both sides of the story. It's because then you find out like the truth. Oh, wait. He was cheating and lying. And then after 10 years, she left him and didn't feel bad. Okay, that makes more sense. Or, like whatever, like not even that. Like there's other things like, this person was fired. Oh no, what a victim. Oh wait, they didn't do their job. They never showed up. They were late all the time. That seems like it makes more sense now. I can understand why they get fired. So when you're only hearing one side of the story and someone's giving you a catchphrase to repeat, trust the science, whatever it is, you know what I mean? They're just giving you a trust, like a little phrase. That's actually hypnosis, by the way. When somebody repeats something over and over, very loud and charismatic, that is hypnosis. That's how they get you to believe things and internalize things. Like catchy songs are like that. So then you internalize the lyrics. So if you start repeating lyrics for catchy songs, but the message is not good, you don't realize this, but you're actually internalizing the messaging of that song, which is why you have to be really careful about what music you listen to. So if you're listening to shoot 'em up, bang, bang music, you're going to think that stuff is normal, even in the back of your head. So be very careful. Just because you don't act on everything doesn't mean it's not still infiltrating your brain and how you think. The other thing is available heuristics. So that's like when you see those vivid stories of failures from others. My friend tried that. He went bankrupt. Now he's homeless. And you see a picture of a homeless man and you get so scared. Let me never open a business. My gosh. Right? Or you'll see this guy living in a car. It's like, he got married and his wife took everything and now he's living in the car. Oh my gosh, let me never be near a woman. My gosh. Or you'll see like a woman who like got married and had kids with a guy and now, she's single or whatever and she's got like 16 kids. And then all the women are like, "Oh my gosh, let me never touch a man again." Oh my gosh. It's like bad things happen sometimes, okay? Bad things are going to happen sometimes. That doesn't mean you can't overcome it. That doesn't mean you can't pick yourself up. Of course you can. It doesn't matter how low. In fact, the lower you are, the less stuff you have holding you back. You don't have anything. You also don't have anything to lose, which is why you'll see so many success stories from people who are at the bottom. When you reach like the darkest bottom pit of hell, that's when you can come out. Because you got nothing holding you down. You don't have any responsibilities when you have nothing. So you have nothing else to do but focus on getting out, which is kind of the best place to be, right? When you have a family, when you have expenses, when you have a lot of stuff to lose, you're more limited to what you can do, right? But when you've actually hit bottom and you have nothing, the sky is the limit. So don't be afraid to be rock bottom. Don't be afraid of rock bottom because that's where all the best comebacks come from. So if you ever reach rock bottom, like just use it. It's a tool like anything else. Then we have the sunk cost fallacy, but you've already been listening to all these people with all their negative advice. So I'm already listening to them. It's already in me. I can't change now. It's too late. I'm too old. That's ridiculous. We all know that. So be careful of what you listen to. It's obvious. Some people are going to be toxic, and you got to learn which those people are and choose better. But that is trial and error. So we're gonna do trial and error. We're not just gonna just give up. Yeah, and one thing about like, oh, people cheat. Yeah, people cheat. There's people who are in happy, successful relationships have been cheated on. So what? It's fine. You just learn. Oh, but I'm going to lose money. You know how many people I know that have successful businesses that have gone bankrupt 5-6 times? They're alive. Now they're successful. They lost everything 5 or 6 times in a row. And now they're successful. So just remember, I met this restaurant guy. He would start restaurants. His wife left him. He was divorced. He had nothing. He was a single dad. He put what little he had into an apartment, and then I think he sold it or whatever, was living with a friend. All that money he put into starting a restaurant. The first one failed, right? But then he learned how to do it better. He got some money from other investments, whatever. He sold some stuff, did it again, did it 8 times, right? And as he's doing it, other people are noticing. Other people are like, let me help you. Let me invest with you. Let me start the business with you. So then he got this one backer and they ended up making chains everywhere. They're doing great, right? I have another friend. Her and her husband had a baby and they were down to $8 in their bank account, right? They emptied all their bank accounts. They took out tons of loans, tons of debt, and they started a burger joint, right? But the burgers were so good, and he ended up going on some show where he's like, it's like a burger battle, whatever, and he won, and people started going to the burger place. In 2 years, they went from $8 in their bank account to millions. Okay. Now they have their chain is everywhere. They have one in like even the stadium. There's one of their burger places in like the local, whatever sports stadium. I don't know anything about sports. So you could do whatever you want if you just try. And also, they were rock bottom and look how far they came up. All right. The other one is when it comes to dating, you gotta be careful with being a slave to looks and aesthetics, like and your bodily function needs. Like, I just want to bang things. So then you start picking people that could be evil, and you start like ignoring obvious signs that they're evil just because you like what they look like, or you like other people's response whenever you bring this evil, nasty person that happens to be attractive around. And everybody makes this mistake, okay? We all make these mistakes. Nobody's perfect, but learn from it. Don't just give up after it. I dated this one guy. He was not a nice guy. I think he was pretty freaking gay. Anyways, but I let go of all those red flags because when I'm about to immediately like not have a relationship, I go to a room and everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's so gorgeous. He's so whatever. Oh my gosh. And then instead of like realizing this person is trash, who cares if other people think he's good looking? They don't have to be with him. They don't know him. I let that kind of get to me and delay me. And I could have been married to my husband like 3 years before if I just, no, he was not into chicks, unfortunately. So anyways, moving on. Okay, herd mentality. If you stick with people who placate to your fears, you're going to get stuck because you're going to conform to them. So if everyone is like, yeah, all relationships suck, you're going to feel that way. If everyone you hang out with is like, oh, starting businesses is awesome. I love starting businesses. I'm going to do another business is great. You're going to start doing it too because it's going to be normal. Whoever you hang out with, whatever their mentality is, that's going to be normal to you. So be careful. You have a negative bias. Okay. More people are going to try to get you to not do things that are risky than people who are going to believe in you so that you do them. It's a feature of humans. They're trying to protect you. You got to be careful. Then you have the self-serving bias. People with a negative mindset will give advice to protect their own ego. Right? Women aren't worth it because they couldn't fix themselves to attract a woman who is worth it. Instead of fixing themselves, instead of going, you know what? I'm a liar. I'm a cheater. I'm kind of a loser. I'm kind of overweight. Instead of fixing themselves, they're like, just don't even bother, you guys. There's nothing good out there. And yeah, and sometimes we joke about that for entertainment purposes, but you have to recognize the difference between we're joking around, right? And we're actually giving advice. There's a difference. There's a difference. I can see it. Like, I can tell when someone is joking around, even though like they're half giving advice and they're half joking. I can tell. But if you can't tell, be careful who you listen to. Because sometimes like the jokes get into you, especially like you'll go see a comedian. I know a lot of people who are comedians and they have the most terrible lives. They have like They're very depressing. That's why they had to develop that skill to like pull themselves out emotionally. So be careful when you go to a comedy show and they're saying all this negative stuff, or like convincing you to be a hoe, or convincing you to lie or steal or whatever it is. And they do it in a funny way, and they're charismatic and everybody's paying attention to them. So you go, they must be an authority in your brain. Learn that that's your brain tricking you. Enjoy it as entertainment, but don't take it home with you. So how are you going to know if you're going to take advice from somebody? First, decipher if they're joking or if they're serious, right? Decipher if they're in a good mood or in a bad mood. Like if I haven't slept, everything's bad and don't do anything. If I am on my period, everything I say is negative. That's just how it is. It's a feature of being a woman, right? If a guy even hasn't slept, he's going to be negative that whole day. If they haven't eaten, they're cranky, they're going to be negative about everything. So don't ask for advice when someone is in a negative mood. Best time to ask for advice. Someone is just eaten, they're in a good place, and they are successful at the thing you want to be successful in. Okay. Then you ask. Once you've reached that, like the emotional, physical things that play into it, then you're going to go to step 2. Do I want their life? Especially in the area that you're asking for advice. If yes, keep going. If no, move on. Are they successful in that area? Yes or no? Okay. Does their advice align with my values? Okay. If you want marriage and children and they want to sleep with 50 chicks and rotate them forever and then die, these are not your values. Please let them go. If this woman is like a sugar baby and telling you how to make money off of men and you want to have marriage and family, it's not for you. Move on. If they, whatever it is. If they want to start 50 businesses and you're just like, I'm looking for how to get a CEO position. I don't want to start a business. That's not for you. Move on to something else. Okay. Then you have, are they projecting their fears? Evaluate if their advice comes from their own doubts or failures. Don't do this. It's too risky. I failed. So you don't want to risk. Is that it? Or I've seen horrible stories. I've seen people I care about die. That's going to color their advice. What's their track record? Look at the past decisions that they have made. Were they constantly making poor choices, staying in toxic situations? Their advice is probably going to just reflect their flawed thinking, right? Are they objective or biased? Is their advice serving an agenda? Like discouraging you because they don't want competition. You know what I mean? A lot of women will do that to other women. Be careful, ladies. You look great in that. You don't need to work out. Oh my gosh, you're perfect just the way you are. Be careful. She should do this for you. You're the man. You deserve everything. What? No, be accountable. Okay. Do they understand your situation? If you have a very specific situation, you need someone who's a little more good at nuance to help give you advice. Is their advice backed by evidence? Do they have any real data, or is it just like, oh, I've helped so many people and there's nothing to show for it? Like if they say something like, most startups fail, ask for specifics, because like vague warnings will fuel a negativity bias. Most startups fail. Yeah. Most businesses fail. Yeah. Most times you start a diet, you're going to fail, and then you finally get it right. Most times you ask someone out, they're going to say no until you get it right, right? That's just how it works. Are they encouraging growth or your comfort is number 1. It's so nice, and we love paying people to gas us up. It's not you, honey. It's the world is wrong. You're perfect. You deserve to be successful. You're already where you need to be. That feels really great, right? But it's not going to help you. And then what is your gut telling you? Reflect. Is this person making any sense all the time? The next is, I just want you guys to really think about this stuff before you listen to people. And I think we covered most of the big things today. So I hope you guys can get some helpful advice. And when you're listening to people, like I like to listen to people who give terrible, I'm going to just be honest. I like to listen to people who give terrible advice because they're funny. If you're funny and you give terrible advice, I'll listen to you because you're funny. I'm not, and I know like every now and then you're going to say something good, but I know how to deal with that. I know how to discern that. Shut up, you little shit. I swear to God. So anyways, so just be careful, you guys, with who you listen to. And just know, is this for entertainment? And that's totally fine. If you guys want to listen to someone for entertainment purposes, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But don't start repeating stuff and posting it on comments because you have a negative bias. Anyways, hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
The old gods whisper with tongues of sin. They crawl through culture to pull you in. Don't be for sale, don't wear their grin. The old are rotten, don't let them win. Eyes and nets and mirrored glass. They promised youth, they cursed your past. You drank the lie with ruby lips, but every toast is one.